things are hanging, that's hanging, but it doesn't matter because there's mate here. Also, this is mate, and white resign. White won. What you're about to see is very fast chess, bullet chess at the highest level. How does the best player in the world, Magnus Carlsen, play bullet chess? Against another top player, Daniel Naroditsky. When Magnus Carlsen plays bullet, we pay attention. It is always fascinating to see how he plays. In this video, we will look at 3 exciting games, all recorded live. As we go through each live game, whenever there's a key moment, I will stop and analyze that key moment before returning to the game. What you're about to see is some very fast chess. Bullet chess at the highest level. Timestamps are below for you to move around the video. If it's your first time here, hello, my name is William. Let's begin. Let's check out how Magnus Carlsen takes on the King's Indian defense. 4-3, knight f3. We have King's Indian for both. Right. King's Indian setup. Rook e1, h3, bishop f4. Right. In these games, Carlsen has white, Daniel Naroditsky has black. Rating 3191 and rating 3069 on lichess. Knight 3, knight 6, g3, g6, and castle. We have the King's Indian defense. Fianchetto variation for white. d4, d6, and c4. Knight d7, knight c3, e5, e4. At the moment, white has 3 pawns in the center, black only has 2, but a pair of pawns is about to come off. Take, take. White controls the d5 square, but black, he controls c5 and e5. He's going to put that to use. Knight c5. Black is using both of his knights to attack the pawn on e4, but white has a few ways to defend his e4 pawn. Knight, bishop, rook, and also the queen. Rook e1, rook e8, h3, stopping any piece coming to g4. Bishop d7, bishop f4. Bishop e3, queen c2 is there, put the rook on d1, we're good. Queen b6 maybe, king h2, f4, g4 coming soon. Knight e2, because of a3, b3, solid. Knight h5, you attack the bishop and then just drop the bishop back. c6. Queen c2, you defend your strong point. a5, rook d1. a4, king h2. Queen a5, so that's why Daniel has brought his pawn forward, so then the queen now actually slides out. In this position, white actually played knight de2, but with this move, it actually gives black the chance to play bishop e6. One option for white was to go rook d2. To say, well, this rook doesn't actually belong on the e-file anymore, go rook d1 and double up. But in the game, knight e2 was played, a3 was played, but bishop e6 is possible, and you are targeting that pawn. And I think black's actually doing very well here. If you play b3 to defend it, then take, take, queen b4, and it's just a really, really nice position. Black has a target on b3. Very well placed pieces, couple of bishops very well placed. But black played a3, and the problem with this move is white now plays b3 and all his pawns are defended. Knight e2, because of a3, b3, solid. Knight defends this, now the knight's coming into b4, so a sacrifice. He gave up that pawn for activity. So maybe Carlsen shouldn't have taken that pawn, but if you take, then, I mean, I would say black is better here, but f4, e5 is not, it's not clear. g4, f5 as well is another idea. 1, 2 as well. Knight a6, planning to come into b4. Black actually gives up the pawn on d6. Knight b4, queen d2. And white is now winning. Even though after bishop e6, if we look at the red circles, these are all the squares the rook cannot go to. Is the rook trapped? Yes, but it doesn't matter. It is okay to give up a rook because you're going to get so much control over the dark squares. Rook d1. 2 rooks and a queen on the same file. This is the Alekhine's gun. Bishop e5. That rook is trapped, but it doesn't matter. c5. Defend the rook. Take was played, but after take, the problem with this is white has so much control over the dark squares. Knight f6, bring the knight back in the game, hasn't been doing anything on the edge, f4, so much control. f4, e4 control these squares, d6 controls e7. You're going to park your bishop on d4 on this incredible diagonal. White is taking over. Knight d7 and now g4, giving yourself 2 options. You want to go f5 or e5. White can now play f5 and that actually traps the bishop, so black gets out of the way with knight c5 but f5 anyway. This bishop can retreat, but Naroditsky plays bishop takes b3. And guess what? Carlsen doesn't even recapture this. I had no time to even think about what was happening in the position. I just could not see it live. I mean, it is a 1-minute game after all. But after bishop takes b3, in the game, bishop d4 was played. Carlsen didn't even take this bishop, but let's consider what happens. After take, knight takes b3, you attack the queen, and all the red circles show all the squares that queen cannot go to. So maybe you put the queen out the way, go to e1, knight c2, you attack the queen and the bishop. Queen moves out the way, get rid of that bishop, and let's say throw in a check and a2. So a very important sequence here, because the whole point of this is you attack the queen moves out of the way, you get that bishop off. This bishop is so dangerous. Throw in a check, just to improve the placement of the black queen, and then a2. And black has a nice position. Bishop takes b3, Carlsen doesn't even blink twice. He doesn't even take it, bishop d4, because he's going for mate. g4, f5 as well is another idea. 1, 2 as well. f5 instead. Oh wow. Whoa, that was too quick. Oh my gosh, now all of a sudden checkmate here. Now bishop e5, knight e6, bishop f6. Now that knight has to move. Things are hanging, that's hanging, but it doesn't matter because there's mate here. Also this is mate, and white resign. White won all of a sudden. Bishop takes d1, blunder. Because with this move, queen h6, and it's game over. Checkmate needs to be stopped, so he plays rook e5 to stop it. It would be really nice if this queen was defending this rook, but you're just delaying mate for now. Take, knight e6. This is the idea. The knight actually guards the g7 square, but the queen now attacks the bishop. But you just ignore it. Just go bishop f6. That knight has to move, and when it does, it's going to be mate. If you go knight e6 first, guarding g7, well, you just take, and the threat is still there. There's no good way to stop it. Bishop f6, game over. An absolutely crushing victory from Carlsen. By the way, I know it's a bullet game, but it took Carlsen only 21 seconds to beat Daniel Naroditsky in this King's Indian. What a finish. Knight f3, knight f6. King's Indian again. Same line again. h3, maybe later again. Rook e1, queen c2, bishop f4 again. Bishop back here, a5, queen c2, same as before, call, rook d1. And king h2, you might even drop it back, and then b3, bishop b2 is possible, or you go bishop f2. I like this, queen f8, here, here, here. Maybe you drop the bishop back as well. Knight f3 with e5. Very difficult to play. He takes and then e5, yeah. Game number 2. Carlsen has white, Naroditsky has black. Once again, we get the King's Indian. All the same moves as last time. c6 now and h3. So all the same moves. Rook e8, rook e1, knight c5. Same idea from black. You're putting pressure on e4, and white is defending his center. Later even queen c2, as mentioned before in game 1. Bishop f4, same move. Knight h5, same. a5, and queen e7 this time. Rook d1, bishop d7. King h2, rook d8 and f4. White has more space in the center, but every pawn push at the moment is a weakness. You don't want to go e5 at the moment. You don't want to go f5. And g4, well, maybe later to kick that knight away. So white is slowly building his position. f4, queen f8. It's a cool move, queen f8, because you get the queen out the way and queen and bishop defend each other. The point of queen f8 is so then now the rook. You got a couple of rooks here in the middle. Later, you know what? You can just put this bishop back. It's a typical way to reroute in these kind of positions. Bishop f2, knight f6, knight f3. So with this retreating move from white, deliberately moving the knight away from the center is to force e5. So knight to f3 means e5 is an idea. Also, white can grab this knight, and then e5 looks even stronger, and also you activate your rook on the d file. When you play one move which has 3 ideas, you know it's a good move. Knight f3, bishop back to c8. At the moment, black is just waiting. And now time for white to try and crash through. take the knight, which is an absolutely huge decision in the King's Indian. You would never ever give up this bishop for a knight, because then black has his dark bishop. But why does Carlsen do it? Take, e5. That knight goes to the side, and queen f2. As well, knight f3 with e5. Very difficult to play. Ah, he takes and then e5, yeah. This structure, I've seen it before, this structure is very good for white. And then, oh wow, even e6. Take, knight h4. Putting pressure on this pawn, also the knight can come into e4 and to d6. f6 trying to break up the structure. e6 threatening e7. Black now blocks with the queen. The queen is such a bad blockader, don't play that. Play rook e8 instead. And with this move, you are now targeting that pawn. Might go knight a4, so then white actually targets something else. Take, something like this. Much better than the game, but after e6, queen e7 played, and f5, locking it down. But black has none of it, but by breaking up the structure for black is absolutely terrible, because after g takes f5, knight h4, and with knight takes f5 coming in, it's just totally crushing. f4 was played as a distraction, but it doesn't matter because you still go knight f5. Really cool move, knight f5, because after take with check, you just take with the queen. Amazing that Carlsen saw this in the real game. Both queens are hanging. If black takes, then you take with check. King moves out the way, and then you can take, and you're a piece up. Queen takes g3, really cool move. Queen f8 was played, and now queen g4, that knight is trapped. He's going to lose a knight. Black resigned. If you play queen e6, then maybe knight g7. Both are still attacked. So if you take this one, you take this. It's still the same situation. You are going to emerge a knight up. A crushing victory. Take, knight h4. Played, coming in, crashing through as well. Knight f5 is there. You might take, you take with the queen. So flashy. Oh, I can't even speak in time, because take, check, then move, then here. Right, e7 is there. Knight h6 is fancy. Then knight f7, then e7 is possible. Queen g4 just trapped the knight. By the way, here's YouTube's suggestion for what to watch next. But if you don't like their option, you might like Checkmating Carlsen in 30 Seconds by Daniel Naroditsky. But if you don't like that one, you might like Alireza Firouzja beats Carlsen in 29 seconds. Thanks for watching.